Hello friends, today I would like to recite a story titled 100 Camels. Once there was a man called James. He lived by the desert and he lived with his beautiful wife and young son. He had a prosperous business, so everything in his life was smooth. But in spite of that, he was very anxious and panicky all the time. He was overthinking. He just did not seem to be happy with his life. Now, after a few days, from a neighboring city, there was a wise saint visiting the area that he was living. He had come with a caravan of 100 camels. Now it was so much of news about this saint because he seemed to be very wise and learned, and people used to go to him to take advice and solve their problems. So James thought, why don't I also go to him? He goes to the saint one day, and after standing in queue for a long time, when his turn comes, it's almost time for the sun to set. He tells the saint that I have everything that I would require in my life to be happy. But in spite of that, I am not happy. What do I do about this? How do I find a solution? Now the saint smiled wisely, but he said, you know what, it's becoming dark. Why don't I give you the solution tomorrow? So James said, no problem. But the saint said that I have one favor I need to ask from you. You know, the caravan of 100 camels that I have got today, the caretaker has fallen sick. So is it possible for you to take care of them for one night? The only thing that you have to do is make all the 100 camels sit down, and after they sit down, then you can take your rest and go to sleep, and we can meet tomorrow morning. James said, okay, that seems easy, I will do it. Now next morning, when the saint arrived, the saint told James, so how was it? How was last night? I hope you slept well. James looked extremely agitated. He said, no, I did not sleep a wink at all. You know, none of the camels, some were sitting, some were not sitting, some after a lot of effort sat down, while some did not sit at all. My God, in doing all this only, I could not sleep the entire night. So the saint smiled and said, what do you think it means? What do these camels, how does it pertain to this problem that you have told me? Can you see the solution in this? So James looked a little puzzled. He said, no, I don't understand. What is the connection? At that time, the saint said, see, there were some camels who sat down by themselves. There were some camels you must have gone to and you must have patted them and they understood and they sat down. While there were some whom you must have tried a lot and tried to, you know, the rope or whatever tied to them, you must have tried to pull it and tried to tame them, but they refused to sit down. So at a time, you could not make 100 camels sit. Also, after some time, it could have happened that where you have tried so much to make them sit down, they did not sit when you told them to, but after some time on their own, they sat down. So again, those camels were sitting and now there were only few left. James said, yes, exactly that is what happened, you know, that some always remained standing, but majority were sitting. Now the saint said that means, James, that in our life also, we may have 100 problems. These 100 problems, some can be solved very easily. So by the time you approach the problem and you realize what it is, it gets resolved. There are some where you have to put in little effort, like the camels, you just went up to them and patted them and they sat down. So they require a little bit of effort from our side. While there are some problems, like those difficult camels who did not sit down, that in spite of trying, in spite of putting in your best effort, they just do not get resolved. Maybe that is something which cannot be changed. Maybe that is something which we need to accept. Or maybe that problem after some time will find its own solution, or it will exhaust its term of harassing you and itself it will sit down, so itself it will disappear. So life is like that. All our problems cannot be solved at the same time. If you expect that each and every day is going to be problem free, you're going to worry about your health and your wealth and your family and your life, these problems, new problems are going to come up every single day. So what is the moral of this beautiful story? That we must learn how to accept what we are faced with, accept our challenges, the adversities, but what we have resolved and managed to overcome, take pride in that, and what we have not, put in your best effort. Some will probably get solved within a few days, some a few weeks, some a few months. Some may not get resolved, but we may have to just accept it. That is the only solution to life. That is the wisdom of life. Acceptance is the wisdom of life. So this saint, through his 100 camels, has taught us that to expect all our problems to be resolved on one particular day, that is expecting a miracle. That's never going to happen. So with whatever you have today, and your life. Accept it, be happy, and face the next day again with new vigor and strength. I hope you like it, and if you do, please do share the story. Thank you.